Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And welcome to another recap of the DuckTales reboot. This time we're talking about episode 20. Who is GizmoDuck? Jacob, episode 20. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it feels... The series has kind of gone by pretty quickly so far.
Yeah, I was just like, because I usually put the number of the episode in the title of these things. And so I was just looking up the episode, the episode number, and I was like, oh, we must be on like, I don't know, like 15, 16, something like that. I'm like, 20, damn, like we're probably towards the end of the season.
Yeah, at least a couple more.
Mm-hmm. So Jacob, who is GizmoDuck besides Lin Manuel Miranda? What did we learn this episode?
GizmoDuck also goes by the notable alias Waddle Duck in this episode.
Waddle Duck. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, which is exactly the point.
All right, Jacob, do you ever have that kind of experience where you really like something, but then you read a review of it that kind of like picks out all the flaws?
Occasionally.
Yeah, that's kind of the mistake I had. Like right before going into this podcast, I was like, "Oh, I have 5 minutes to spare. I'll look up and see what some random person has to say about the episode." It's like they give it like a C review. They're like, "Yeah, it has potential, but it's kind of all over the place." So, how do you feel about this episode, Jacob? Because I'm kind of at that point where it's like, when I first watched it, I really liked it, but now I read this goddamn random review online, and I'm just like, okay, is it like, I don't want to just fanboy out about it because I'm a big Lin Manuel Miranda fan, you know what I mean? So it's like, of course I'm gonna like it by instinct. So how do you feel, Jacob?
Honestly, I wouldn't give it a C, but it didn't. I will have to admit it's not even as strong as GizmoDuck's first appearance.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. I definitely think it has some highlights, though. I think.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of highlights. I mean, especially Donald at the beginning. We get to see Donald for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, but it's still just one scene, man. It's not enough.
I know, but it's more than we've gotten. And
like at first, when the episode started out, I was excited because I was like, "Oh boy, is GizmoDuck gonna save Donald?" Like, basically, what I thought was gonna happen is the whole what we got with Mark Beeks in the episode, minus the evil plot, and that's what I was hoping for with Donald. That Donald would just become the world's biggest fanboy of GizmoDuck. But unfortunately, no, because Donald Duck is just.
I was more anticipating like you would become jealous of Huey's admiration or something.
I could see that. And again, kind of, Here's the thing, Jacob. Let me get into like the problem I have with the episode, and I'm sure you can probably agree with me here. I feel like the episode had a lot of really good ideas in it and some really good scenes and highlights. It was just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's like it's basically like they took several different ideas for GizmoDuck and just put them all in one. It's like this arc could have been spread out.
You know what it totally feels like?
What?
Just to make it topical, it totally feels like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm gonna see that.
Where it's like, yeah, there's good stuff here. It's there's some good high concept fun to be had with it, but at the end of the day, there's too many plot lines. It's not really that memorable. I don't know, Jacob. It's unfortunate because I really do think that there is some killer stuff in the episode. So I think probably my favorite part of the episode is the fact that finally, and this is probably like one of the big reasons I did like the episode on first watch so much. Finally, Mark Beeks is goddamn threatening.
Yeah, I mean that's what really intrigued me. Like they actually show that he can be a credible threat and actually is a technological genius, and not just standing on the shoulders of giants. Basically, like he was able to override GizmoDuck.
Yeah, here's the thing. I really like Mark Beeks to me is kind of like he really is kind of hitting that sweet spot of kind of like that Gene Hackman Lex Luthor where he's, in equal parts threatening and funny. You know what I mean? Because I really do think the guy, as the episodes go on, I feel like I'm getting more and more accustomed to what they're doing with him on a comedic scale. And so, so for example, speaking to the comedy of it all, I freaking Jacob, there's something about the animation when GizmoDuck is saving Mark Beeks from the helicopter, and Mark Beeks is just like up there flying the helicopter, but he's paying less attention to flying the helicopter than he is to like dancing to his like very, very loud music that he has plugged in. I don't know. There's just like, are you with me here? I love the little dance animations that they give Mark Beeks. It's almost Justin Hammer-esque.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And yeah, definitely like of course we ended the buddy system episode on that cliffhanger where Mark Beeks is kind of becoming obsessed with GizmoDuck, and we follow it up here. Sir, your takeout is here. Do you want it? No, I want him. And the steam rolls. Give me the steam rolls.
He really wants those spring rolls, doesn't he?
All right, let's see. So what do you think of getting a taste of Fenton's home life? I rather enjoyed that element of it.
It's interesting just to meet his mother.
Jacob, this is just like, here's the thing though. This just, it gave me nostalgia for when I first fell in love with In the Heights. With the whole with the Latin American or Latin, I don't know. The whole that kind of that cultural influence, this very much feels like the DuckTales equivalent to In the Heights.
I mean, you're more familiar than the Heights than I am, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's less In the Heights directly and more so kind of like getting a taste of like Lin Manuel Miranda's like own personality and flair into the mix. But I mean, then again, Lin Manuel Miranda, like, that show is a very, very personal show to him. So I don't know. It's probably like, I'm not saying it's like directly a comparison, but
I just think it's also kind of interesting that in the credits she's referred to as Officer Cabrera.
That's true. That's true.
So
I wonder how that's going to play into the. Here's another thing, Jacob. Another thing that kind of bothers me upon reflection on the episode. It sort of sucks that we don't really get an aftermath to, like, does she know that Fenton is GizmoDuck? Does she not know? Like, we don't really ever have it acknowledged either way.
I mean, I think it's kind of implied that she does, but it's entirely. But I guess we'll have to wait for a sequel episode to find out.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, yes, it's implied that she does, but I feel like there could have been more dramatic weight behind it in the episode, considering the whole point of the episode is her kind of like, a little bit unnecessarily stressing out for his unpaid internship to the richest man in the world.
Pretty much.
Might want to sit on that one a little bit.
Yeah, like she even says later, it's like, make sure to get some money out of him. He's loaded.
Oh man. Okay. Jacob, I'm just gonna say it. It pains me to say this because I really do like the original version of the character, and this is one of the, as we've talked about before, this is one of the few times that they've made characters worse and not better, because usually with this show, I feel like they improve the characters. I freaking hate Gyro.
Yeah, that's what you keep saying.
Yeah, I mean, no, but like I've literally gone from like, oh, I'm not sure about this to I don't really like this to Jacob, this episode really did put me into hate territory. Like I'm like this guy is becoming a freaking problem.
He's kind of a jerk.
A little bit, yeah. That's a bit of an understatement, frankly. I mean, the guy is just like Look, it just bothers me. I feel like every time we have Gyro and Fenton, we're just going through the motions and there's no development at all. It's just like I get the sense that by the end of the episode, Gyro still hates Fenton. You know, and he's like, at the very least, if Fenton still needs to be working under Gyro, like at least have Gyro show some amount of respect towards Fenton. And not just be like, oh my God, yeah, Mr. McDuck says you're the man for the job. I don't see it, but I have to welcome you back. I get Jacob. Frankly, if I was Fenton, I'd be like, Mr. McDuck, I'd be happy to work for you personally, but I don't feel comfortable working under this dickhead.
It's entirely possible that he was just just playing it up too. Like maintaining his persona and stuff like that.
It's possible, but again, kind of like the mother thing, I feel like if that's what they were going for, they could have hit it home a little more.
Well, that's why I said it's possible.
And it just, Jacob, here's the thing that really disappointed me about that, though. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't hope for a character to get written out of the series entirely, because there's always chances that characters come around. Like, anyone who's familiar with our Gotham recaps know that Dragon and I did a dramatic 180 on the Barbara character from Gotham. Seasons 1 and 2, we absolutely couldn't stand her. Seasons 3 and 4, she's honestly one of the more fun parts of the series. So it's entirely possible that over time, Gyro could develop into a really good character, but I don't see it now. What my point is, I'm sorry. My point is that when Scrooge McDuck first walked into the room, I got excited because I thought what they were going to do is Scrooge McDuck was basically going to replace Gyro as Fenton's boss. And then I got to tell you, Jacob, when Gyro walked into the room, the air, like kind of the elation of that ending just got sapped out a bit. It really did.
I can see what you mean.
I was just like, okay, look, even if we show Gyro, even if we show that Fenton still has to work for Gyro in later episodes, like, do we really have to have Gyro come in and ruin Fenton's moment? I don't know. That bugged me, Jacob. That really did. I'm just like I think that to me was the turning point. Like throughout the episode, I mean, Gyro does have some decent points, specifically the missile that Fenton does cause, you know what I'm saying, specifically the missile, and Gyro does raise good points that it is a prototype, it is dangerous, but I don't know. It's just like there's just something about his attitude, something about the fact that he just won't budge on it. You know what I mean? The fact that he won't, like, he isn't even willing to be civil with Fenton. That's what bugs me about it. And so throughout the episode, I was thinking like, all right, like this is just kind of like par usual. Like I'm not really liking it, but it's whatever. And then I got to tell you, Jacob, like I keep saying, that ending of the episode with him coming in, that really was kind of what set me over the edge of like, oh, this guy's really just no, get him away. All right. Let's see. What do you think of the montage of the Waddle Duck, the app? What do you think of that whole idea? I thought it was a really, really threatening villain plot. Honestly, I thought it was very insidious.
A hero in total. That's been total control. A hero that's being controlled by someone else. It's always like a unique plot point.
Mm. And like I said, I wish that this episode was honestly a two-parter. Like I've said that about a couple other episodes in the series, and I'm kind of feeling the same way here too. I feel like the two-parter could have come in like part one would have ended when GizmoDuck came to work for Mark Veeks. That would have been a natural end to part one. And then part two, I feel like they could have developed Mark Veeks a little bit more, because don't get me wrong, I feel like I do feel like there is good stuff with Mark Veeks in this episode, and I feel like this is probably the best Mark Veeks episode that we've gotten so far. But I don't know, there's just I feel like there was potential to really make it grow, and at the end of the day, I feel like it's a good idea. It's just kind of like what we were talking about with Big Hero 6 this week. You know what I mean about how the God, the Jacks were defeated so easily and so kind of abruptly right at the end. That's kind of what I'm feeling here, Jacob. I'm kind of feeling like, like we could have gotten a little bit more time with Mark Beeks in the GizmoDuck suit. I think that's something the episode kind of lacks.
That's honestly what I would like to see. Like, it's like he's like saying he's basically I get to choose who I save and all that. That would have been an interesting plot idea to explore.
Yeah, the thing is, Jacob, it's just like we do nothing with it.
It's basically just hand waved away by like, oh, he caused danger and the suit's malfunctioning again. Oh, who's gonna save him? Oh yeah, Fenton's gonna save him.
Yeah, so that's the thing, Jacob. At the end of the day, I feel like this really is an episode that, like, again, I keep saying it's got a lot of good things on the surface of it, but it doesn't really add up. It's like, it doesn't really come together. It's definitely kind of when I first watched it. Go ahead.
It's basically less than the sum of its parts.
Yeah. I do love the Louis cameo in this episode, though.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. He's like, "Great me, make it 2. No, let's go with 3."
Did you catch what Dewey's line was? Because I didn't.
I don't think Dewey said anything. I think he was just there in the background.
Just kind of like popping up in the background. Okay, got it.
I think he just like had the phone and waved to GizmoDuck or WaddleDuck at that point.
Okay, actually, Jacob, this episode does have legitimately one of my favorite moments from the series, though. And it's the "My Faith in You" scene.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
I don't know. There's something like, again, this series is doing a really damn good job of making all 3 of the nephews distinguishable, where, Louis is just kind of like the schemer and kind of the wild card. Dewey is kind of like the quirky artistic type. And I think Huey is the heart, Jacob. I think Huey is the heart of the trio, as the leader should be. And I definitely think this episode very much encompasses that. That is one of the reasons I was kind of really liking the episode at first, was I do feel like Huey's admiration of GizmoDuck in this episode is very palatable and very heartwarming. And I don't know, there's just something about like Louis, like Huey writing out "My faith in you" in a piece of paper, throwing it on the ground, saying, "All right, like, you have to throw it away. It's literally my faith in you. Throw it away." I don't know. It's such a simple idea.
In the recycling, you monster. Well, yeah, definitely.
That's the type of stuff I'm talking about, Jacob. Like, if the episode was filled with more of these types of scenes and it was more consistent, this would easily be one of the best episodes of the season. Easily.
It just feels like the traditional way the series is going on with some of these episodes. Like, it's more focused on the set pieces and comedy rather than telling a cohesive story.
Right, which isn't necessarily bad, because...
No, but it really depends on the episode. But here, it's like they were trying to tell like a second part of a superhero origin story, but it just like fell to the wayside.
Again, I really do feel like this is one of the episodes that we could have had split up into 2 parts, especially like, if we had a 2-parter, Jacob, then we could have really explored the Mark Beeks's GizmoDuck scenario. I feel like that's the biggest missed opportunity.
Like I said, it showed that he could have taken control of GizmoDuck. I mean, I'd like to see like more on that, like at least more than 30 seconds of that, because when I first saw him, like, he's like, "No, you know what? I'll take GizmoDuck." I was like, "Oh, that's actually pretty interesting." That's like, we've never seen anybody else's GizmoDuck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, especially a villain.
So it's like a villain using a GizmoDuck suit, basically trying to extort Duckburg by saving whoever he wants. That would have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been an episode I would love to see. I mean, although they could probably save this later on by like him creating his own GizmoDuck suit or something.
That's true. That's entirely possible.
I mean, look, he was smart enough to be able to create something to take it over himself. I mean, who's to say he wouldn't be able to, either try and steal it again or be able to build his own.
One thing I do think this episode solidifies, though, Jacob, and tell me if you agree. I feel like Mark Beeks is at this point the overarching villain of season 1.
I mean, well, yeah, Glomgold just seems like okay, Glomgold's here. He's gonna do some evil stuff, and
Glomgold is more comedy than anything else. I feel like Glomgold is like breaking it down. I feel like Glomgold is like the really successful bit of comedy. I feel like the Beagle Boys are kind of like the comedy that's kind of hit or miss. Magica is sort of like I feel like she's less of a villain and more of a mystery, if that makes any sense.
well, we've yet to see more motivations beyond her not becoming a shadow anymore.
That's what I'm saying. So I really do think that at this point, Mark Beeks, the writers really have put a lot of care from his first episode where he really does kind of just come off as a moron. I feel like they've laid a good path to this episode. They've laid a good kind of foundation to get to an episode like this where he really gets to kind of flex his Lex Luthor muscles.
I mean, and so far of the 3 episodes he's been in, the 2 of them have been both GizmoDuck episodes. So,
well, no, he was also in the McDuck mystery.
well, he didn't really play a big role there.
Well, yeah, I know, but they still had him in there. That's what I'm saying, though. They kind of like they sprinkle him in.
All right, I see what you mean.
I don't know. It's not like amazing. You know what I mean? It's not like Garnet's arc in season 1 of Steven Universe or anything. But I don't know. I liked it. All right, so Jacob, it turns out we actually do have quite a few more episodes, and surprisingly, man, like this must be a record, Jacob. I swear to God, this show has been going 1 episode a week, since May 4th, and it looks like we're gonna get episodes all the way up until at least mid-August.
Sweet.
Without any breaks. Jacob, my God, I feel like this is just like, remember like Gravity Falls, a show that took what, like 5 years to air 2 seasons?
Yep, I remember.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
I mean, that's not the only show they gave that treatment to.
Oh, I know. I'm sure Wander Over Yonder was another one.
Wander Over Yonder, Phineas and Ferb, several others.
Uh-huh.
I mean, heck, sometimes they just like aired half episodes every other week or month.
And the fact that they're able to do this with both DuckTales and Big Hero 6, and I feel like while both shows aren't perfect, both shows certainly aren't Gravity Falls by any stretch. And Big Hero 6 definitely still has some season 1 kind of pilotitis it needs to work out. Both shows are high quality, Jacob. I feel like both shows are high quality enough that they consistently keep me entertained every week, and I look forward to them every week at the very least. And so to have 2 high quality shows on Disney right now that are both traditional hand-drawn animation, well, I mean, not hand-drawn, but you know what I mean. But it's I very much do think it's a sign of good things to come for Disney in the TV animation department.
And they have new shows on the way too.
They do.
Yeah, like Owl House and yeah. I mean, I'm especially looking forward to Owl House.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Jacob, let's go through the episodes that we have. The Other bin of Scrooge McDuck is episode 19. Sky Pirates in the Sky is episode 20. Wait, that doesn't, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess this is episode 18.
Wait, I thought you said this was episode 18. Oh, did you say it was 20?
No, I said it was episode 20. Oh, shoot, folks. I'm sorry. I was hyping it up as yeah, it did seem a little bit early to get episode 20. Oh, geez. Now I'm embarrassed. I have to fact check that.
It's fine.
Anyways. Okay, number 21. We've got 3 new titles here, Jacob. Number
Great.
21 is The Secrets of Castle McDuck. And I say secrets because the S is in parentheses all cryptically.
Oh, nice. Castle McDuck is has a very interesting exploration in in both the original DuckTales and the comic series. So this should be interesting to see in this show.
Definitely looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
it's most likely going to be like a Scrooge and hopefully Donald episode.
Hopefully, fucking
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah,
Don't press a nerve there, Jacob.
that's why I did say hopefully. I'm not trying to get your hopes up.
God. Okay, then episode 22 is The Last Crash of the Sun Chaser.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds very honestly, that sounds very classic DuckTales to me. It sounds very much like a standalone adventure.
Almost sounds like a Launchpad episode.
Could be.
I said Sun Chaser, and it sounds like a jet or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which would kind of play into its flying.
All right, and then episode 23, Jacob, which I don't know, judging by the title, this seems like it would be the season finale, is The Shadow War.
Ooh, Magic Shadow War.
So I don't know. If I had a theory, I would say that maybe Magica teams up with Mark Beeks because Mark Beeks definitely seems like we're building something with him. But of course, like logically, it makes sense that Magica is going to be the focus of the finale. That I definitely that's like I said, that's logical. I sound like Spock right now. Anyways. All right, final thoughts, Jacob?
Again, an episode that's less than the sum of parts, but enjoyable in some others.
Yeah, I really feel like this episode is like, I don't want to say it's a missed opportunity because I feel like that sounds too harsh, but it's just a shame because like I said, it has moments of greatness, folks. It has these moments, these little nuggets where I'm just like, ooh, I really like that. Like, let's more of that, please.
But in shows like this, it should have like more than just moments of greatness. Like the entire thing should be at least strive to be great through and through.
Yeah, and Jacob, it's just a shame because I feel like either like they could have either ironed it out or done two parts and really expanded it. But at the end of the day, I feel like it was just kind of like it was too much. They packed 2 episodes worth of content into 22 minutes, and it just kind of came off like too rushed. And that's
especially considering last week's episode pretty much tried to tell 2 episodes worth of content and succeeded flawlessly.
Oh yeah, big time. All right, folks. Well, I guess that will do it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And in the meantime,
woohoo,
woohoo, pew, 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 pew.